jackass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to The Boring Company. I'm back to you with episode 72, and we're talking about a very, very key factor in The Boring Company business plan, and that is throughput. Frankly, I am bored of all the FUD and all the lies and all the general misinformation that is going around on Twitter and on YouTube as well. People talking about The Boring Company has no throughput. Oh, it can't compete with trains. It can't compete with trams. It can't even compete with a normal motorway. And I just frankly think that it's absolute rubbish. It's based on zero knowledge of the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to crush a bit of FUD today. If you don't know what FUD is, it's fear, uncertainty and doubt. And that is what people peddle when they're trying to shill another product, i.e. the rail industry. As we can see from the man himself, the great man Elon Musk, we have various tweets. Fundamental advantage of layers of tunnels is you can have as many layers as you want going in any direction. Average speed of the New York subway is actually 17 miles per hour. The Boring Company loop can run at 155 miles per hour with 16 passenger autopods passing every second, routing automatically between tunnels to their destination. That's 57,600 per hour. Now, when I first read that, I thought, wow, that is a really quite ambitious number, and I'm not too sure about that. But if you get close to that number, well, not too bad. I actually ran some of my own numbers, which I'm going to come to at the conclusion of this video, and I actually came above this number, which is frankly amazing, because I think that number is insane. But if you run the numbers, you get something incredible. So this is a big piece of the FUD that's going around at the moment, is this diagram, and it's just an absolute pile of shite. Yeah, everything about it is wrong. Yeah, first of all, 1.1 people per car. First of all, it's not a car, it's an autonomous electric vehicle. It's going to hold multiple people. That'll be well above 7 in the future. Currently, with the current system in Las Vegas, it's going to be around the 5 to 6 people per autonomous vehicle. In terms of departures per hour, again, that's going to be at least 250, maybe 300. That is well off. The actual documents, legal documents for the Las Vegas project, stipulate the Boring Company must achieve 4,200 passengers per hour. So straight away, this is bullshit. So this is a shill organisation. It is not true. It is lies. It is deception. They've not run any of the numbers. They are not telling you the truth. And we're going to combat all that FUD, because these people need to learn. They need to listen. They need to learn, because what they are saying is frankly rubbish. Yeah, total rubbish. And we know who they are. So, common attack vector. I hear this all the time. I even get emails about this. I see comments on YouTube. The system has no throughput. Oh, you cannot compete with trains because the trains can carry 400 people. It's like, well, the train comes every 20 minutes. These pods will be coming every more like 15 seconds. Yeah, probably better than that. So, these kind of arguments are not based on actually running the numbers and analysing the data. So I've confirmed what FUD is, fear, uncertainty and doubt. The conclusion, and there are very many people saying this, a lot of these people are essentially paid professionals. They are told by their employee what to think and what to say, and often their real opinions, they cannot speak them. However, I am totally impartial. I support all mass transit systems. However, I think this system, the Boring Company system, is the best system. It is the most advanced system, and it also will have some of the highest throughput ever seen by any mass transit system in the world when it is built out to scale. And that is the key word, scale. Without scale, you're not going to achieve the throughput that you desire. So the conclusion is illogical when you run the correct numbers, and we're going to run the correct numbers. A direct correlation exists between vehicle speed and throughput. So if you increase the speed, the throughput will increase. If you reduce the speed, say there's congestion, the throughput is going to fall. So by having a high speed, by having a controlled system, a safe system where vehicles can operate at up to 155 miles per hour, you're going to get a very, very high throughput. Without a significant number of AVs, also speed accounts for nothing unless you have lots and lots of autonomous electric vehicles, and the Boring Company will have several hundred autonomous electric vehicles in its future systems, maybe thousands. It depends on the city, it depends on the system itself. Inside the tunnel, vehicle density is everything. So the actual distance in between vehicles is important, and the number of people per vehicle is important. So if you've got a short distance in between the vehicles, and the vehicles have got, 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 occupants in them, that is going to improve the throughput because you've got a higher density. High density should not equal high risk. So the people that are on the internet, on YouTube, on Twitter, peddling this nonsense that because there's a system, the way the Boring Company wants to run the system, in platoons, vehicles at very high speeds, close together, that this is extremely high risk and therefore there's going to be accidents. No. Absolutely not. That is just rubbish. No one cares more about safety and efficiency than Elon Musk. And Elon Musk and Steve Davis are 100% focused on safety. Their number one priority is making this the safest mass transit system in the world. Not just America, the world. So there'll be the number of accidents and incidents will be so low it won't even be worth documenting. Okay. Let me go over some of these lies. They are lies. They are creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt. These risks do not exist, and it is far from it. So first of all, Tesla autonomous vehicles are unproven and are dangerous. No, who says these things? Because they clearly have not analysed the data. If you look at the data that Tesla produces, when people actually use autopilot on a regular basis and they use it in the correct way, and 95% of people that have a Tesla use autopilot in the correct way, it is at least 4 or 5 times safer than just a normal person driving a Tesla. If you're just a normal person, you're not using autopilot and you're driving a Tesla, you are more likely to be involved in an accident than if the Tesla has got autopilot on all the time. Granted, there are going to be cases when you have to turn autopilot off because it's not quite at level 4 level yet, but in the next 9 to 12 months it's going to be going up to that level 4 level. It's very close to sort of a level 3.5 now. It'll be getting very close to level 4 by the end of the year, and then into next year we'll be in level 4, and the actual data that comes from in terms of accidents per million miles is going to be so low, and it's already there. The data's already there. You can't argue with the data that Tesla are giving. That constantly what I hear is, well, we can't trust the data that Tesla are giving us because they're not impartial. What are you actually saying? And this is a conversation I had with someone on Twitter. I said, what are you actually saying? Are you saying that Tesla is altering the data to make it look like their vehicles are safer? And that's what they actually think. They think Tesla are altering the data that they receive to make it look like these accidents only happen every 4 or 5 million miles, when in fact they're happening more often. But that's not true. Tesla vehicles using autopilot are some of the most safest vehicles in the world. They're only going to get better. At some point in the next 10 years, getting into an accident is going to become less common than being hit, or more common, it's going to become more common than being hit by lightning in the next 10 years. You can take that as a quote. So, tyre blowouts. I get this quite a lot. Oh, tyre, you can't work this system at those speeds with tyres, because tyres have this, occasionally they get too hot and then they blow out, or you get a puncture And how this is inevitably going to happen, because look at the motorways. You see all these vehicles that have got blowouts. Well, I'll tell you something. Do you know what this is? This is a valve that used to be on my tyre. I actually had my tyre replaced. But this sensor here, this sensor measures the temperature and the pressure inside the tyre, yeah? And it actually has, in the past, told me when I've had a puncture. Within an hour or so of getting the puncture, it said, hey, look, the temperature inside the tyre is moving. There must be something wrong with your tyre. An alarm goes off. That cost me about £85 to put 4 sensors on my car, yeah, to retrofit it. I'm pretty confident that Tesla could build a system that is much, much more robust than that, and they probably already do have something very similar. So the probability of tyre blowouts in this system with brand new tyres that are regularly maintained is close to 1 in 500 million. It's just so low. It's not even worth worrying about. I mean, rail vehicles derail all the time, yeah, but it happens so infrequently we don't really worry about it. And that's the same with tyre blowouts in the Boring Company system. They will be very, very, very infrequent, probably every few years, if that. Probably never, frankly. Drivetrain power failure. So the idea is that, what in the hell would happen in the very, very rare occasion that you do have a tyre blowout, or even worse, you have a drivetrain power failure. So suddenly you're driving along in your autonomous electric vehicle, you've got vehicles behind you, and then suddenly you lose power. Well, first of all, there's this thing called momentum, and the vehicle is not going to slow down to a stop as if you pump the brakes. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to roll along for 400 meters or so and then stop dead. So straight away, that gives vehicles behind you plenty of time to stop. If you're in a platoon, again, the vehicles that are behind you don't even need to go into the back of you. They will slow down quicker than you are slowing down. And also there will be safety gaps in between platoons and pods. So it's just that even if the 1 in 500 million chance that you do have a drivetrain power failure, which happens so rarely, the data clearly shows that drivetrain power failures are so rare it's not even worth worrying about. So even in the event that you do get a drivetrain power failure, vehicles can stop. There's not going to be some huge kind of pile up. The vehicle with the powertrain failure is going to continue onwards, and all the vehicles in the tunnel, what will just happen is there'll just be a long line of vehicles and they'll all be stopped, and it will cause a load of hassle, but it'll happen so infrequently it won't even really matter. If you think that's a problem, then you need to come out with some data, because everything that I'm looking at says these kind of things happen so rarely it's not even worth worrying about. Very rare. Object collisions, remember this is a controlled environment in a tunnel. It's very, very unlikely that people are going to be in the tunnel. It's very unlikely that animals are going to get into the tunnel. It's just the probability of there being a collision with a dog or a raccoon or a squirrel inside the tunnel is just absolutely minute percentages over the course of a year. So it's not even worth worrying about. This is not just some motorway. People keep assuming that it's just like a motorway and that you've got people at the wheel. These are autonomous electric vehicles. They are extremely safe. They are built with safety as their number one priority, and they're constantly improving. They are a much better driver than me, and they will constantly get better, unlike myself, who's slowly over time going to become a worse driver. It is, and I quite like using this phrase, it is the underground autobahn with intelligent vehicle management. So the system knows where all the vehicles are. All the vehicles know where all the other vehicles are. They communicate with each other. There's a main central system that communicates between vehicles, and vehicles can also communicate between themselves if they are close enough. If they're within sort of 150 meters of one another, they can communicate with each other, and do that to form platoons. So it's an incredibly robust, safety first, low risk, extremely low risk system. So now that we've killed all that FUD. If you disagree with me, by the way, you know, please put it in the comments below. Let's have a debate. Come on our Discord, yeah, the Boeing Company Discord, in the comments below, and tell us why you think what I've just said is wrong, and we'll have a nice debate about it. But I can tell you now, this is the safest mass transit system ever proposed. Ratio of vehicles to road. So, the ratio of vehicles to road is critical to achieving maximum throughput. So that helps by having your platoons and by squashing in vehicles as close together as possible. Thus, tightly bunching vehicles improves the ratio greatly. This is only possible today thanks to level 4 autonomous electric vehicles. So for this system to be effective, you need to achieve level 4, and you need some kind of basic form of V2V for forming your platoons. It doesn't need to be some kind of super high powered, high throughput system. It just needs to be able to send basic messages in between vehicles so they know where and when to form platoons, and when there's obviously a safety issue to be like, right, you need to be cautious, there's been an incident, this is what you need, you know, form safety protocol 1, do that now. That's what V2V needs to achieve. Never assume the Boeing Company is compromising on safety. Nothing is more important to the Boeing Company, Elon Musk and Steve Davis, than the safety of all the passengers in the system. So it's 100% of their focus is that under no circumstances will there ever be an accident in the system. They're not putting throughput over safety. Yeah, safety is always #1 priority for the Boeing Company. Platoons will be formed via pairing AAVs at variable speed limits. So when I say that, what I mean is that as some AAVs are coming through the system, they are designated as lead vehicles. So when they're designated as a lead vehicle, that means instead of going up to the higher speeds, let's say 140 miles per hour, they initially go travel at a lower speed, say around 128 miles per hour. That allows other vehicles to come up behind them, to join them, to form a platoon. As more and more vehicles join the platoon, the speed is allowed to increase up until they get to 155 miles per hour, and that would require at least 11 pods in that platoon. So here is my diagram of how potentially we could run the system. These are based on my calculations. Please comment below if you're unsure about anything, but based on the running of the system, based on how far ahead vehicles can see, and obviously how advanced the system is in terms of communicating the position of every vehicle at every time, I believe that with 3-pod platoons, the safe distance in between vehicles, platoons, is 140 meters. Now, in between vehicles, I've left a gap of 600 millimeters or 60 centimeters. I think that is very viable. That improves the efficiency of vehicle 1 as well by a little bit, but vehicle 2, vehicle 3, their efficiency improves dramatically when they run in a platoon, and there is a 600 millimeter gap in between pods. 140 meters is a nice safe distance in case there is an incident, such as, for example, there is a powertrain failure. Say there's a powertrain failure in this vehicle here. It'll take him a good 400 meters to stop. In the meantime, vehicle 2 and vehicle 3 can begin braking, but gradually braking. But as soon as this vehicle starts braking, within 1/100th of a second, if not quicker, or a 1/300th of a second, vehicle number 4 knows that there's a problem here with vehicle 1. They also begin braking. Vehicle 4, 5 and 6 begin braking. 7, 8 and 9 also begin braking, and then obviously the system can be closed off if necessary. When we start adding more vehicles into a platoon, so we've got 5 here, we need to increase the gap. So for every additional vehicle that's added to the platoon, the gap in between the platoon increases by 7.5 meters. So because we've added 2 vehicles, we've increased the gap by 15 meters. So it's gone from 140 to 155. Here we are. Again, 600mm gap in between vehicles improves efficiency. The efficiency of this platoon with 5 is a lot greater than this one with 3, because vehicles 2, 3, 4 and 5 are all benefiting greatly from this lead vehicle, which is designated to travel at a slightly slower speed than other vehicles in the system in order to build up this platoon, as per I explained. At this point with 5 in the platoon, it's probably going to be around 142 miles per hour. It allows other vehicles to join it, but at that stage it's very efficient, so it's not necessarily required that we need more vehicles joining a platoon, although it is possible at rush hour and things like that. So I actually ran the numbers, and I'm going to do another video with the Excel document that I've created that examines the potential throughput of a system. Obviously there are various assumptions for this system that does not exist yet. I accept that the system does not exist yet, but remember, the Boring Company is a startup. They are working towards building a system of this scale. A great example of where this is possible is potentially the Washington to Baltimore tunnel, which is a very, very long tunnel, and would be able to achieve similar speeds, similar vehicle fills, and the distance would be a lot more, so it might even achieve a better throughput. So in our first example that I've just looked at, we had 3 vehicles in a platoon, so a 3-set AV platoon in a 10-mile tunnel where the average speed is 125 miles per hour. So remember, they can travel quicker than 125 miles per hour, but obviously there is a period where they are accelerating and there's a period where they're deaccelerating at the end. So actually when they are cruising above 130 miles per hour, but there's obviously periods at either end where they are either accelerating or deaccelerating. So the average speed is 125 miles per hour. So for a 3 pod platoon or AV platoon, the throughput is an amazing 29,876. There you go, big number. Now in the real world, you're not necessarily going to achieve 8 passengers per platoon. That speed may come down. There also might not be as much demand to go through that specific tunnel, so that potentially could be the absolute maximum that could be achieved in the most perfect of scenario. So really you're looking at around 24,000 for a 5-set AV platoon. 42,000, which is again an absolutely amazing number, and this is just for one tunnel, guys, one tunnel. So if it's like a dual bore tunnel, you'd be getting double that, but again, this is the absolute maximum. In the real world is going to be 20 to 30% lower than this, but in certain circumstances it could get very, very close to this. 7-set platoon, 51,113, which is just blows my mind. I think when you start getting up here with 7 pods per platoon, that is going to be difficult to do, because remember, all these pods have to merge, come together, and having that enough vehicles join the system and having enough time for vehicles to join up to form platoons, because some of these vehicles may go in the system and then come out after 4 minutes or so. So it's difficult to form platoons, but when you have the perfect throughput with 7 pods per platoon, you're going to get 51,000. A 9-set one, 57,983. So this is coming close to what Elon Musk was saying per tunnel per hour. So actually, despite a bit of skepticism on my part, Elon Musk was actually correct, and I think that potentially you could run it with more passengers and you could run it at a high speed. So I think that's pretty damn good. If you were able to form 11 set platoons, which is going to be quite difficult, require a lot of you're going to have a lot of luck, and also a lot of very, very clever pods and algorithms to make them merge at the right points in the system. Potentially, or theoretically, per tunnel you could achieve 63,405 passengers per hour. So you know, you're getting to the rate if you have 2 tunnels. So you know, you're getting round about 126,000 per dual bore tunnel, because it's double that. So that would absolutely destroy a Crossrail or a Thameslink or Manchester Metrolink or any mass transit system in the UK or France or even the European Union or America. So as you can see by these numbers, very, very viable to move thousands of people in the right scenario. Anyone that's coming out and telling you that this can't be achieved, well, the numbers are saying otherwise, Elon Musk is saying otherwise, and the evidence is going to be there on the 2nd of January when the system at Las Vegas is going to be opened up. So thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you agree with what I'm saying. I'm going to do another follow-up video with a bit more focus on the actual data and how I came to those numbers. I'm going to change around the various data points to see how much or how little throughput you can get through a tunnel. Please like and subscribe, join me on Discord, Twitter and Instagram, and I'd appreciate some feedback on my throughput projections. Do you agree with my throughput projections? Do you think it is possible? Do you think that the numbers that I'm using are maybe a little bit ambitious? That's what I thought when I ran the numbers, but even after adjusting them, I still think what I've got here is very, very doable in the real world. So thank you to all my Patreons: Ashley, Mike, David, Christopher, Jim, Curtis, Milton, Nathan, Frank, Fred C, James and William. Thank you all for watching today. Really appreciate you all following this channel. This channel is going big places. We have got many, many new subscribers. I cannot fault all your enthusiasm and all your support. Thank you so much. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for joining me. It's been a long one. If you made it to the end, well done, because that was a lot of information. I appreciate that. Okay, so remember, don't be boring, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much, and goodbye.